So, when you say a bracha, in essence, what are you doing? You're thanking a Kadosh Baruch Hu for what you're about to benefit from. The Gemara in Masechet Brachot says, anyone that benefits out of anything in this world without blessing HaKadosh Baruch Hu, meaning without saying thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is considered a thief. A thief. Why a thief? You're stealing from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He gave you water, and you didn't even say bracha. How can you benefit out of something that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you without even saying thank you? What kind of manner? Where'd you learn your manners? In a zoo? So, Am Yisrael, our sages, made a takana to make sure, made a halacha to make sure that you have a blessing before everything that you benefit from in the world. There are even blessings for things that you don't necessarily benefit from in a traditional way. Like for example, water you're benefiting because you're satiating yourself, you're thirsty. Food you're benefiting from because again, same thing, you are hungry. You go to the bathroom, you're saying a blessing because thank you that the body worked. If it doesn't work, then Hashem Yirachem. But Am Yisrael also has blessings even for things that you don't see as a traditional benefit. Such as, for example, when you see lightning or you hear thunder, you also have to have a blessing. When you see unusual people, certain people are unusual looking. Not unusual by your opinion, but unusual and just unusual. Somebody that's albino, for example, or if you see somebody like that, you have to say a blessing for such a person. If you see a leader, you see a king, you have to say a blessing. You see a chacham, see someone that's a gadol ador, comes to your knesset, comes to your location, he's next to you, you have to do a blessing. There are different blessings. There's a very good book called Birkot Eliyahu that gives the blessings and also explanations for all the different blessings, but it also has a very good way for food, and it has almost every food, every kosher food you would eat, it has a picture of it and a blessing next to it. So you don't have to think too much. Oh, checks, cereal checks. What is it? You go to the page, check, cereal, over here. Carrots. There's a carrot, you go carrots, you see a picture of a carrot, it tells you the blessing, and so on and so forth. Every Jewish home should have this on their table. It's very good because there are some things that are not so obvious. Carrot, you know it's from the ground. But there are certain things that you don't know. For example, what's the blessing for a mushroom? Some people, unless they learned the halachot of blessings, they don't know a mushroom. And I say ground, but it's not true. The mushroom doesn't grow from the ground. It grows from the air. It doesn't grow from the ground. There's no roots. Mushroom doesn't have roots. So what do you say, bracha for the air? What are you going to say? It's shakol. A mushroom's blessing is shakol. Same thing with when it comes to rice. Rice is an exception. Rice, instead of what we would think it would be shakol, it's actually a mezonot. It's a mezonot. So the point is that these little blessings you need to know, because these are the small little details of how to live a Jewish life. Now, what happens if a person makes a blessing, like you said, on, let's say he did on a drink, and a short while later something else comes up. Let's say he had a drink, and a short while later he has, a piece of candy or something else that he wants to eat. That's also the same blessing. Can he piggyback off of the original blessing or no? The answer is, if he had the blessing in mind when he did the blessing, as I'm blessing the just this water, and all he thought about is the water, he cannot use that same blessing for anything else. Why? Because all he had in his mind is just this water. Just this water. So he cannot piggyback, even though it's the same blessing, he has to do another blessing on the other thing. But if he had in mind, I'm going to be in my office for the next hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to be in my house for the next hour, 2 hours, 10 hours, I'm not going anywhere. And instead of doing a blessing every time I'm going to eat something, I'm just going to do from now on, I'm going to do shakol on this drink or on this whatever thing is, but include everything else that I'm going to eat or drink that's under that same blessing. Even if I don't know what it's going to be. As long as I'm under that same roof. So if I'm in the office or I'm in a house and I want to do a blessing, I know I'm going to be there for 5 hours. I say, I'm going to do Shakol blessing, but that's going to include everything else, even if I don't know I'm going to eat it yet. But everything else that's going to include it, as long as I'm here, that's included. You could use that one blessing for all of the things that you're going to eat or drink. But if you leave the house, even if it's just to throw out the garbage, you have to start all over again. Because as soon as you leave the house, even if it's for a moment, your mind is no longer on that same original blessing. But if you have it in your mind, it's pretty much, as long as you're under that same roof, you could piggyback off of the original blessing. Same thing goes with the other blessings, whether it's mezonot and other things. But also remember, there's one major difference, is that there's also bracha achronah. There's a last blessing also that you have to do under certain conditions. So for example, if you do birkat hamazon, you eat bread. You can't say, okay, I'm going to eat bread now, and you know what? I'm going to be home all day. I'm going to be in the office for the next 10 hours. So let me just not say birkat hamazon until I leave. Doesn't work that way. You have to say birkat hamazon up to 72 minutes after you complete eating. So if you want to carry that blessing for longer, for example, if you want to have a longer meal, you want to have a longer meal. You don't want to just eat now, finish, and then you want to continue munching on a few things. You have some company over, you want to talk divrei Torah, and you guys are going to be together for 3, 4, 5 hours. And you don't want to do birkat hamazon yet because you're going to continue eating stuff. So what you can do is that every so often eat something that's connected to the meal, some real food, whether it's a piece of bread or some piece of food, so that 72 minutes continues extending. Don't not eat for an hour and a half and then say, okay, I could just do the birkat hamazon now, because the maximum is 72 minutes. Halacha in reality is that actually even if it goes beyond 72 minutes, you should still do it, but nonetheless, the Chachamim said you should not do it beyond that, because 72 minutes is usually the longest amount of time that you've maintained this meal, the benefit from the meal, after you've completed it.